Here's an example of a footnote reference to a case. Firstly, we've got the names of the two parties in italics. Secondly, we've got a neutral citation, although older cases won't have one of these. Finally, we've got the most authoritative law report reference. Let's go through these elements one at a time. The first element of your footnote is the name of the case. Usually, this is the name of the two parties separated by a V. If you mention the case name in your essay, then you don't need to repeat it in your footnote. There's lots of good advice in the OSCOLA handbook about case names. At its heart, referencing is telling your readers where sources can be found, so they can go and read them themselves. Cases are found in law reports, so that's the information we need to give our readers. A case can be reported in more than one law report. We don't need to tell our reader every one of these. We just need to tell them about the highest quality, most authoritative law report. We'll look at this more in a moment. If you'd like to learn more about law reporting and how it works, there's a good video from Law Bore. This is the hierarchy of law reports. It's important to remember all of these are good sources of law. It's just that the courts regard some as more authoritative sources than others. At the top is the not very imaginatively named The Law Reports. These are published in 4 parts, and the 4 abbreviations AC, CH, FAM and QB indicate that a case is from these series, as does KB, which of course is what the Queen's Bench is when we have a king. Underneath are 2 general series, the Weekly Law Report and the All England Law Reports. By general series, I mean that they publish cases from lots of different areas of law. Next in the hierarchy are specialist law reports, for example the family law reports, that only publish cases from one area of law. Finally, there are sources like the Times, which sometimes do law reporting. If your case has multiple law report citations, you can use this hierarchy to help you work out which one is the most authoritative and therefore which one should go in your footnote. Despite all these law reports, the vast majority of cases don't get published at all. If a case doesn't set an interesting precedent or isn't significant, it may not get published. I've just shown you a way of describing cases that is based on where they're reported, but most cases aren't. This is clearly problematic. Also, it's always sensible to have a single system that gives things unique numbers as well as their names. For example, the way you have a student number as well as a name. This need for a sensible way of identifying cases brings us to neutral citations. Neutral citations were introduced in the higher courts in England and Wales in 2001, so older cases won't have neutral citations. The crucial difference from law report citations is that neutral citations refer to the court a case was heard in, not the law report it was reported in. My top tip is that you can always identify a neutral citation because it will have either EW or UK in the abbreviation. Look at the first example. This was the 5th case in the UK Supreme Court, UKSC, in 2017. The second example tells us that this was the 2140th case in the England and Wales High Court, Family Division, in 2015. Knowing that the name of the court with a helpful UK or EW is hidden in the abbreviation makes it easier to identify a neutral citation when you see one. Hopefully, this example makes more sense now. After the party names, we have the neutral citation. Older cases won't have one of these, so just omit this step if you don't have one. You then have the most authoritative law report reference. If your case was reported in more than one place, you can use the hierarchy table from earlier to help you identify which law report citation to use. Feeling confident? Down the right is a screenshot from Westlaw showing all the information about the Crown against Ray. Pause the video and try creating a footnote reference to this case. Take as long as you need and feel free to jump back to earlier parts of the video to get clues. How did you get on? I've colour-coded the answer to make it easier to understand, but your footnotes don't need to be so colourful. Firstly, I've got the name of the case in italics. Secondly, I've got the neutral citation. I was able to identify this from the list because it had EW in it. Finally, I've got the most authoritative law report reference. I used the hierarchy table from earlier and saw that QB comes in the top line of this table. If you look back at the screenshot from Westlaw, you'll see that these two citations were the top of their list. This is not a coincidence. Normally, if multiple citations are listed, the neutral citation will come first, then the law report citations are listed in authority order. This really helps with identifying which law report citation to use. Cases can be one of the trickiest things to reference. There's lots more help available on the library web pages, and you can always get in touch with me if you're still stuck or confused.